Hey you all, StabilityWOD number 30. Thanks to all you early adopters for tuning in and following along this month. It's been a real pleasure sharing with you all. I look forward to continuing to spread the word, and I appreciate your help with that, letting your friends and family know that while mobility is an important piece of our fitness, stability is the other half. And I want to revisit that idea today as we continue to talk about this pattern of the knee and ankle sometimes not functioning that well. When I first started, I talked about the concept that once we develop mobility, we're only going to keep it as long as our muscles learn how to access it. So a lot of times we spend time developing more range of motion in our joint for a workout or whatever, because we know that's important. But unless our muscle really learns how to integrate, our muscles learn how to integrate that movement into function, we'll just lose it again, because our brain really doesn't think that we actually need it. So as many of you already know, I run my physical therapy practice out of CrossFit Roots, and I work with the coaches here a lot. We collaborate often on helping our athletes stay as healthy as possible. And they have a month right now going on where before each workout, every athlete in the gym is assigned a mobility exercise, someplace they're stiff, and then immediately after that, they get up and they do some stability exercise to help them integrate that new movement. Every month that will change for each athlete, because we all have multiple things we need to work on, but it's going to be a great experiment. I'm fully supportive because I think it's going to really change how the athletes move and significantly decrease their injury risk. So along that trend, what I wanted to share today was the idea of ankle mobility and how for a lot of athletes, that's a reason that they turn their foot out. That's a reason that they pronate and why their knee dives in. And if their ankle can't dorsiflex, can't flex in that direction on the top of a straight foot, then they're going to find a way around that. And it's a super common restriction. So what I want to do is share the mobility exercise to help you clear that up. And then immediately after that, we're going to integrate some stability work so that your muscles can learn how to access that new range of motion, the goal being to help you keep it. Sweet, so my friend Jake's going to help us out, showing us the ankle mobility. You can see he's nursing an injured wrist, and this is a great time to work on some of his weaknesses. He's attached a thick band to the rig, and we're going to mobilize ankle dorsiflexion. So Jake's going to stretch that band out with the thing wrapping right around the hinge of his ankle. He's going to make sure his foot is straight, pointing straight ahead, if not slightly toed in. And then he's going to roll his foot out so his arch comes up. He actually supinates, so he has some arch contour. That's going to make him drive his knee out over his little toe, just like it would be when he's squatting. So he's trying to get his ankle to hinge in an outward direction as he squats. Now, a lot of people can hinge their foot in the wrong position when they're toed out and their foot's pronated and their knee drives in. They have plenty of movement in that direction, which is why they tend to default to that position. But that's not what we're looking for. We want a straight foot, high arch, knee drives out. He's going to spend a couple solid minutes working to get his ankle hinging in this direction so that his knee can come far enough over his toes for him to have a healthy squat. He can either move in and out of this position, or he can just hang at the end range if he's particularly stiff for a couple of minutes. All right, so Jake just finished mobilizing his ankles, and what he's going to do now is a little bit of heel walking to help integrate that using his anterior tib, his shin muscles, so he can actually get into that position actively. He's going to walk around on his heels, his feet pointing straight ahead. What he's not doing is he's not sitting back to cheat around it, hinging at his hip, because that's going to actually make it easier on his shins. I want him standing up tall, and I want him really pulling up on with his shin muscles until he starts to feel some fatigue in those muscles. Now, you don't need to do a ton of this, but you want to spend at least a minute working on activating that muscle so it can access the very end range, the new range that he just developed. So Jake, where do you feel that after doing that for a minute?
When I first started, I only felt it in this sort of area, but after about 20 steps, I really started to feel it across the whole front side of the shin.
All the way up into the shin. And
yeah,
that's a range of motion that muscle's not used to that muscle's not used to pulling you into that much dorsiflexion, so it has to relearn how to do that, yeah. All right, so one other option that Jake's going to show us is how you can use a band, and we talked about this last week. about how we can stabilize the ankle. In this case, we're going to specifically train the anterior tib. So Jake, if you want to pull your foot up toward your shin as far as you can, activating the shin muscle into that new dorsiflexion range that you just stretched out. You're going to do that without pulling your toes up. So relax for a second. Do it again, but pull your toes up this time. That's just going to use his toe extensors, which is really the wrong muscle. Relax it down. Now do it again with relaxed toes. It's a little bit of a coordination test, but he's going to pull it up as far as he can. Hold it there for a few seconds and then slowly relax. Even 10 or 15 of these is enough after you've done your mobility work to help to integrate that new range of motion. Now, Jake's shins were burning after the first exercise we did. How do they feel now?
Really spicy.
Spicy, I like that. And you can see his shin working really hard. So at the gym this month, CrossFit Roots, everybody after they mobilize their ankle is one-legged jump roping. And this does a couple things. It works all the stirrup muscles around the ankle, but every time I land, it puts me in a little bit of dorsiflexion, and it really activates my shin. It really tires my shin out in this position, which is kind of the position that I'm squatting in. So I'm practicing jumping rope with a straight foot and landing with my knee tracking out, just like I would if I was squatting or running. And I'm getting my ankle used to hinging in that direction. Start to feel tired after about 30 seconds. That might be enough. If I can go a minute, even better. And I'll switch feet, do the other foot. If we zoom in to the foot and the lower leg, you'll see that my ankle and foot are working really hard to stabilize. The other place I feel it is my glute, where we talked yesterday about that muscle being really important and in charge of the knee position so it doesn't deviate in, it stays out. I train my foot to be stable as I'm jumping in this position. Hey guys, you probably can't hear this, but there's disco on in the gym right now, which makes me very happy, as you know now that I really enjoy disco. Anyway, wanted to share that with you all. This is going to be a really important concept going forward, and I'm going to continue to pair mobility with stability work so that you see how they fit together. It's a really important next step evolution in athletes, not only improving their mobility, but actually keeping their mobility so they don't have to work on it for an hour a day. Thanks for tuning into StabilityWOD, day 30. Looking forward to another month of information sharing with you guys. If you liked what you saw today, please click the like button, leave your comments in the box below, and as always, I hope you'll take a second to subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow.